are certified to teach, then you will get this board given to you at the day of graduation to wear, to signify that you are going to go into the field of teaching, hopefully in Texas. Most of you guys will be in Texas, but you're certified in the state of Texas. So this board will be handed to you once you're at read before you walk in, and everybody in all the different programs that have certification will have this board to symbolize that. So something to kind of look forward to. It's kind of our new department head. They did it at his university, and so he put it in place. So something special to kind of be an extra notification and symbol to people that you're going to go into the profession. So placements will not be handed out today. We still have a whole bunch of districts, lots of districts that have not finalized placements. And we have a whole bunch of you guys that unfortunately have not passed your test. And so until that May 5th deadline comes and goes, and we have the majority of placements in from school districts, we're not going to send those out to you. If you've gotten an email from a district that says this is your placement information, that's fine, but it's not official until you get it from us, because we've got to make sure, one, you've been improvising, two, you've passed your test. There's a few little checklists before we send your final formal placement. So I'll talk more about that, but just so you know, they won't be handed out today because most of you would get a blank piece of paper that said pending on it. So as soon as we have those, the majority of them ready, which will be the middle of May, you'll get an email with information as much as we have, and you'll still have obviously 2 to 3 weeks to contact your mentor teacher and try to make plans to get together before the summer break. Oh,
I know, right?
Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Corns to talk about certifications, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about expectations for the fall.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Okay, so everybody knows this page, right?
Yes.
We've all been there? Good deal. Now we are focused on your PPR exam and your application for certification. You see how it's kind of going across the line here? We're following the order. I would like, before May 15th, for you to have submitted your PPR information form. This does not mean that you have to take your PPR test right away, nor does it mean that you have to go sign up or anything else. We just want to make sure that we get all of this done now, because you guys are leaving for the summer, and then next semester you're going to be away, and you're probably not going to remember about that. So this just takes something, get something off of your to-do list right away. We will talk again. We'll see each other again, but during your clinical teaching semester, you need to take your PPR. You're fortunate because you've got the summer. If you feel confident and you're ready to take your PPR, go ahead and do it this summer. Clinical teaching is a tough semester. You're going to be very busy. The likelihood of catching some germs from children is very possible. So the last thing you want to do is be sick and trying to take a test. So if you can get it done this summer, that is great. There is no real deadline for the PPR other than graduation. So between now and graduation, get your PPR done. Also, during your clinical teaching semester, you will apply for certification. This is a multi-process step. You're going to complete all of these steps found on this page in this order. The first step is your certification information form. If you want to fill that out today, tomorrow, next week, great. But it has to be filled out by October 15th. Beginning October 16th, I will be sending emails with your letters of intent. This is a letter that says you are currently a student at Texas A&M. You're working towards completing your certification requirements with the state of Texas, and that we anticipate that we will certify you after graduation. When you start applying for jobs, which will be around October, November, December, they're going to want this letter. If you do not fill out this form by October 15th, your letter of intent will be delayed. Because I will write a letter for everyone else in this room before I send you yours. This is also used as a final clearance for graduation, so please give me a non-Texas A&M email address. Something you will be checking after graduation and once you have left A&M. The application for certification is done on your TEAL account. That's in the TEA website. And you can see that I have a hyperlink here. This will link to a PDF that will walk you through step by step on how to apply for certification. The application on TEA's website includes a survey and your fingerprinting. The final step will be to pay your $78 fee and then hit submit. When you pay, you're only going to pay the fee for one certification. So if you're getting certified in math, science, and ESL, you're still only paying the one $78 fee, $77, whatever it is. If you're getting certified core subjects, ESL, same thing. So one fee no matter how many certificates. The exit survey that you're going to have to complete is a TEA requirement, and the survey is your answers depend on the accreditation of Texas A&M offering teacher certification. Typically, we have scored very high on this, but the last year we've seen some crazy things happening, like you guys are saying the percentage of students who tell us they were taught how to deal with ELL learners, 60%. Really? You have all been taught how to deal with ELL. You've all been taught about technology. You've all been taught about differentiated instruction. You've all been taught classroom management. When you fill out this form, don't forget all those classes. Your rigor and your curriculum at A&M is stronger than any other program, and it's not being reflected in the survey. So please remember those things, that you do have supervisors who come to visit you. You do have a support staff that cares about you and that's there for you. You did get test preparation. You do know how to teach children with special needs. Okay? All right, fingerprinting. On the same page where you're applying for certification, it's going to ask you to pay a $39 fee to complete fingerprinting. You'll pay this fee, and then you will get an email called a Fast Pass. With that email, it's going to provide the instructions on where to go to actually get your fingerprinting done, how to set up an appointment. When you show up to your appointment, you're going to have to pay another $10 fee. They'll take your fingerprints, and then you're good to go. If your school district requires you to get your fingerprinting done before clinical teaching, shoot me an email, and I'm going to note that on your file, and you can go ahead and do the application for certification and get it done right now. Okay, so some of you will do the fingerprinting and your application in August because your district's going to want you fingerprinted. If your district says, hey, we're going to pay for you to get your fingerprinting done, jump on that and save yourself $50 and go get it done, and then when you get to the application, you're just going to skip this. If you work at a daycare, a summer camp that's affiliated with a school district, like Cool After School or anything like that, if you have been a substitute somewhere, if you think your fingerprints are already on file with TEA, don't do this until you call TEA and confirm that they have your prints on file. On the flip side, don't assume that they have them either. So if there's any question, call TEA. There's an option number 3 when you call them. They ask for your TEA ID number. They look it up. They say, yes, your fingerprints are here. Once you submit your application, the two will sync together and all is good. Any questions about fingerprints? All right. You'll probably forget. There will be a handful of you that will email me about this, but we're going to talk about it anyway. You're going to graduate on a Friday. I cannot start issuing certifications by state law until I can see that your degree has been conferred. That is usually the Tuesday after graduation. On that Tuesday, I will start doing the recommendations for every student. There will be about 300 total for me to do. So when I start that process, the first things I'm going to look for: have you passed your PPR exam? Is your application on file? Are your fingerprints complete? Did you fill out the certification information form? And then I'm going to go to Howdy and make sure that your degree is listed as conferred and you have no holds. I held up a certificate last fall for a student because they owed $2 to the library. Don't let that be you, okay? Give me time to do this. I promise I will not leave for Christmas break until everyone is certified. So please just be patient. It is against state law for me to do it early. If you're getting hired and your district says, oh, just tell them to do it early. No, it doesn't work like that. But on the flip side, if you do have a job offer and you are going to start teaching that first week of January, send me an email. Let me know. I'm going to put you at the front of the line. I'm going to do all those folks who have been hired first. Just because you graduate does not mean you're getting certified. And just because you've completed certification requirements, A&M can hold your graduation for other things as well. So the two do not go hand in hand. If you want to take additional tests after you have been certified, there's a link on the TEA website. It will also be in this link, and it's on the My CHD page. Once you hold your certificate in your hand for your initial certification, you are eligible to take any test that the state offers. You do not need my permission, and nobody's going to want to look at your transcript. So if you have trained to be a kindergarten teacher and you also want to teach welding, perfectly fine. Go take the welding test, and you can add it to your certificate. If you are a 4 through 8 person, that is what you're going to be certified in from us. If you've also taken the core subjects, it is at this point that you go back in, pay the $77 fee again, and add the core subjects exam that you have already passed. It will not show up on your first certification because, as we've talked about in junior methods and so forth, I can't. It's against the law. We can let you take the test, but we can't certify you. So if you're 4 through 8 and you've passed core subjects, you will go in and add that. You can use this promo code for certified teacher for the PPR as well. So the one that you've used for junior methods, you can use this again to practice PPR. Also, don't forget about T-Cert. That's through Tarleton. That PPR test prep is one of the best, and it's free. And then, of course, you've got the free download on the ETS website. Yes, sir?
For the people who've done the 4 through 8 and then the core subjects, if we've also done the ESL, do we have to do that fee twice?
No, sir. When I go into when I go in to certify you, if you're 4 through 8 and you've taken the ESL, I'm adding that in. So I'm going to certify you for your 4 through 8 and the ESL if you've taken it. Same as if you're core subjects. I'm going to certify you for everything that you've passed except for the core subjects. Does that make sense? Okay, any other questions? You guys know where I am. The best way to reach me is via email, especially over the summer. I'm in and out a lot, but I will email you back. You're going to think of things after you leave here today over the course of the summer, and especially when you get into the classroom. If you can't remember, you can always refer to the CEHD page or to this presentation, and we also will be sending out reminders to help you keep up with what's going on. Any questions before I leave? All right, y'all, good luck. Go make us proud. We know you're going to do a great job.
All right, good morning. I'm going to talk in kind of pretty broad terms about what your semester is going to look like, what you need to do, and what to expect. You will meet with your supervisor that's assigned to come in and do your observations by the day that you start clinical teaching. So you will have a sit-down orientation, nuts and bolts, what you have to do, what your weeks are going to look like, all of those really detailed things with your supervisor and any other Aggies that have been assigned to that supervisor. You'll have an orientation with them. You guys have already enrolled for fall, and so if you have not and you need a refresher of which course based on your certification, and then if you're local, 500, and if you're at a distance, 550. So this, just a reminder from Justin. All right, as far as what to expect and kind of how to prepare for this, you're transitioning from being a college student into a professional. The great thing about being a fall clinical teacher is you're going to be there the very first day that the students arrive. So they're going to see you as an equal teacher. They haven't had a semester with their teacher and then you pop in. So it is a great opportunity. It is it's best preparation for when you get ready to have your own classroom, because you're going to be there and see what all is involved to get ready and what an actual first day, firsthand looks like. As far as being a professional, I know you guys hear this from senior methods and everything, but just remember you're going to have one chance to make a first impression with your assigned mentor teacher, your supervisor, the campus principal. So just be really thoughtful when you're making that initial contact with them. The other thing is, remember that you're a guest in the classroom. Yes, they're providing a service and we are offering a great, you're basically free professional labor for a huge chunk of time. But at the end of the day, their priority is their students and their teachers, and we come third. And so if there are any hiccups or problems or things that they do not feel comfortable with, and they decide they don't want you there anymore, you will be pulled from clinical teaching and you will have to start over in the spring. Okay? So just be really thoughtful about your professionalism, showing up on time. We'll kind of talk through some things. Social media is a big thing. Don't post anything on social media about a bad experience that you've had or a kid in your class, or we've had a student pulled for that. They made some inappropriate comments on a Twitter feed that one of the students found and screenshot sent to the principal, and that student did not come back to that campus. So if you have a really rough day, go find one of your peers or get in your car and turn up the radio really loud and scream and yell, or go home and get in the shower and scream and yell. Call one of your friends if you're in a district and you're the only one there and you're really frustrated with how your day went. Call one of your friends that's going through it this same semester with you and just kind of vent. But just don't put anything out there that you're going to regret down the road. While you are not getting paid, it is basically a 14-week job interview. Even if you don't think that you're planning on staying in that school district, those people in that school are going to help you get your job. Your mentor teacher is going to be your best recommendation, your supervisor, people that are working with you on that campus. And teacher network, while we're scattered all over, people know each other. And so if you're staying here to clinical teach, but your eventual goal is to be in Frisco ISD, there are people here that know people there. So just because you're in a school where you think, I don't want to have my career here, this is not what I'm envisioning my future to be, they're still the people that are going to help you get that job. And so you need to see it as a job interview while you're there. Dress, punctuality, those are all things that are talked about in senior methods. Don't usually have issues with that, but you're there from the time the school day starts for your mentor teacher until they leave. Okay, so you're not running on the student schedule, you're running on your teacher schedule. You'll have an attendance log that you sign in and sign out every day. And so just make sure that you are following those timelines for being on campus. Like I said, placements will be sent to you middle of May, and you will have an opportunity to contact your assigned mentor teacher. There will be a handful of you that will not know your mentor teacher until summer. There will be a handful of you that will get a mentor teacher assigned to you in May, and when you are about a week out, you'll get an email from us or from the school that says that teacher's been reassigned, that teacher has quit, that teacher has moved, and you'll have a new mentor teacher. So while it's great that you can contact your mentor in May, and most of you guys will be with that person, there's probably 20% of y'all that there will be a change. It may be that you're with the same mentor, but maybe they change grade levels. Maybe you're with the same mentor, but they've switched schools. They're in the same district. So there is a lot of transition over the summer, especially with some of the bigger districts where teachers get moved around based on attendance zones, based on kinder numbers. They think they're going to have a whole bunch in a school. They have all these new kids enroll, and now they've added a kinder class at a campus. Your mentor may be the first one that gets moved. So just be flexible and realize that there is potential for change. There is even potential for change a week into this school year. Teachers get moved. We had a girl that clinical taught in the spring, got hired. She set up her room at Bonham. The last work day before school started Monday, her principal came down and said, they need you at Branch Elementary. So she had the weekend to pack up her already decorated, ready to go class where she had labeled the desks with kids' names and moved to Branch, set up a new, now she had a great network of people that came along beside her and helped her. So reality is, when you sign your contract, you are not signing for a school, you're not signing for a grade level, you're signing to work at that district within the confines of your certification. So if you're EC6, you could get hired as a kinder teacher and get moved to 3rd grade, week 1 of school. You could switch schools. So there is a lot of flexibility that goes into it. Chances are that's not going to happen, but just know that it does happen. So you may get a great email in May and everything's perfect, and something could change over the summer. So check your email regularly, because as soon as we get any updates, we will forward those out. Okay? The other thing, as important as it is to start strong, you need to finish strong, because that's what's going to be most remembered when they're writing your recommendations for you. So just be really thoughtful about staying strong throughout your 14 weeks. Talked about the web. First day of clinical teaching. Once again, depending on which district you are placed in, you may start as early as the 13th of August. Your official start date is the first day that students are in the classroom. Okay? So your 70-day start the first day that students are sitting in their desk. You are highly encouraged to go to all the professional development and work days that you're able to prior to that. 1, to better prepare you. 2, to make a good impression and to kind of bond with your mentor teacher before that first day. If you walk in cold the very first day the students are walking in, you're going to be overwhelmed. But if you've been there a day or 2 or even a week, most districts have at least a week of staff development before students show up. So you are not officially required to go to those, because those don't count, but my advice would be go if you're able to. Yes? I'm sorry? Okay. Some calendars, school districts are not starting until that 28th of August. So your start date is totally dependent on the school district where you're placed. Okay? So some of you guys will finish 2 weeks before the rest of you. just based on school calendars, okay? You have to complete 70 days. With school districts that start as late as the 28th of August, you may be going the week of graduation to finish your 70 days. Unfortunately, if you get sick and you miss a week, you have to make up all of those days. So there is potential that you could be going after you've graduated to finish your required days. Okay? TEA mandates the 70 days. That's not an A&M thing. And that is something that's documented, logged, uploaded, and when we get audited, we have to show that. So the 70 days must be complete. Any absence, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but any absence has to be made up. Okay? Yes?
So, when you're talking about 7 days, that includes professional days?
So, if there is a staff development day once the semester started, so October 5th is a staff development day, and you go that entire day with your mentor teacher, yes, that day counts as a day.
Okay.
If your teacher is opted out, meaning they went to a workshop over the summer, and it's one of those days they can opt out and they're not there, you can't go, then no, that doesn't count.
Okay.
Yes?
Does early release count as optional?
Most early release days, the students are released early, but the teachers stay and do like some kind of professional development, so your log would reflect 8 to 4, even though the students maybe got released at 1. Yeah. Okay. So we will have a calendar for the fall, and we'll probably have A and B calendar, since there's a 2-week gap, because obviously everybody's not going to get observed week 1 for the 2-week delay people to get. So there will probably be, you'll either be in group A or group B. Just thinking through, do you guys remember last fall and how crazy the start of the school year was? So we had 3 calendars because some kids didn't start until the middle of September with all the weather issues. So we're planning on an A and a B, but just be flexible with that.
So earlier you said that if something happens and you have to move school, or like if they can't do anymore, you have to do it next semester. That doesn't count if like weather or something happens, right? Okay, it's just like you do something.
If your behavior warrants them saying you can't come back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What about holidays like Fair Day and I guess?
Those days do not count. If you're not there at the school, it does not
But
count.
that'll be like factored into their 70 days.
Right, you'll count. We will provide you, when you get your placement, we'll provide you a start date and an end date based on the calendar and based on the fact that we think you're going to be there every single day. Any day you miss, if there is a weather day, if there is a one day of bad weather, like there was a snow day this semester, every student in clinical teaching that had a snow day is adding an extra day to the end of their semester. If you get sick, you add a day. If you get sick for a week, you add 5 days. So every single day that you miss has to be added on to the end of the semester. Okay, so calendar start dates, totally dependent on the campus, the district where you're placed. So you guys will follow that calendar, not the A&M calendar. Working during clinical teaching, hopefully you won't have to, but if you do, we understand that that's a need. It just cannot interfere with your clinical teaching expectations. So you can't leave the school the second the kids walk out the door to go to a job. Okay? You've got to be there with your mentor teacher, and so if you have to work, weekends would be the time to do that, or evenings, but you can't leave early to go to a job from your clinical teaching expectations. All right, we're finalizing the handbook for the fall because there are a few revisions. So once that is available, we will send you a link. You'll probably get that when you get your placement, and you'll have all summer to look over it and make sure that you're good with what all's in it. But that will be something that you'll go over with your supervisor when you have orientation with them in August. Most of you will meet with your supervisors probably a day or two before you start officially with students. Some of them will have you come to their house. Some of you guys will meet on a campus. Some of you will meet at Starbucks. It'll depend on who your supervisor is, how many Aggies they have, and what makes sense for them. So you may be driving. If you are like clinical teaching in Prosper or Frisco or McKinney. I think one supervisor does all those districts, so they're going to pull y'all all together. So you may be traveling to get to your orientation with your supervisor. But you'll go over the handbook with them during that time. All right, basically it's just kind of a roadmap for you. It'll be online, you'll download it. It's just kind of a map for you of what all is expected. You will sign an acknowledgement that you received it and understand the expectations after you meet with your supervisor. It basically is the objectives and the purpose of clinical teaching is to prepare you to be a teacher. And so this is just the semester where somebody who is a qualified, selected mentor teacher has been assigned to you. The school district is really thoughtful in who they place you with. Strong mentor teachers that have experience and have success and have a good toolbox to help you build your skills. Transitioning from a student into a classroom teacher. Obviously, it's also a time of self-reflection, goal setting. Those will all be things that will be part of the experience based on your observations and your evaluations that you have. And like I've talked about before, it's a win-win. It's a great opportunity and experience for you to get prepared, and it's a win for that school because there's an extra professional in the classroom with those kids. So, it talks about in general how you start off observing, move into team teaching, and then eventually build into full responsibility. So you'll have 2 2-week windows of full responsibility where you are expected to plan, provide instruction. You may have a mentor teacher that if it's a testing grade level and they are a stickler about something, they may want to do whole group for math. And that's okay, but you're planning for it. You've got materials, you're totally ready to just hand it off to them. They may do whole group and then you step in and do enrichment, remediation, things like that. But you're basically planning out that full responsibility window of time. Lesson plans, you'll talk about that in detail with your supervisor. You will have a midpoint conference with your mentor and your supervisor to talk about how things are going, and then a final conference as well. So in addition to the 4 formal observations, you'll have those 2 conferences. So you'll have minimum of 6 interactions, debriefs with your supervisor during your 14-week window. Talked about absences, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. Your supervisors will also have seminars throughout the semester that you'll come to. Your first one may be on lesson plans or maybe on classroom management. Leading up to career fair, a lot of times they'll do one on interviewing questions. They'll maybe bring in a teacher. But those seminars are required, so you need to plan on being at those as well. Any questions before I keep going? Yes?
Where will those be? Like, closer to where we are with the group of...
Yes, so
Okay.
we're, depending on your supervisor, if you are in Cy-Fair, we have one supervisor in Cy-Fair. She'll pull all the clinical teachers that are assigned to her in Cy-Fair together. So it may be on one of your campuses, it may be at their home, maybe at the library. Yes?
So will our supervisors give us like a calendar with all of those dates that we're required to do training?
Yes. Probably at orientation, they'll talk through the other seminar dates. Yes. But those are not mandated by us as far as when and how and what you cover. It'll be driven totally by you guys and what y'all need. So, question? Yes.
Will those be on days that we're supposed to be clinical teaching, or like?
It'll be after school,
Okay.
evening, or possibly weekend, just depending on, but no, you won't miss class to go to a seminar. Yeah. Yes.
So for career fair, we're required to know.
Yes, I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. Okay, so attendance. TEA, I've said this, but I'm going to say it again because for whatever reason, people have a hard time with this. You have to be on your campus 70 days. So even in excused absence, what we would consider, or A&M considers an excused absence, you still have to make up that day. Just like if you miss an exam at A&M, you still have to make up the exam. So you have to make up your time. So there are excused and unexcused absences. Yes?
Does the job fair count?
I'm going to talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So really clear. If you miss a day, you add a day at the end. Your log has to reflect 70 days. Okay? If you leave during the day, if you get sick at lunch and the nurse says you need to go home, you will document that and you will add time at the end of the semester. Okay? There is an online portal. You guys have it for senior methods, right? To report absences. So if you miss a day, you click, you put in the absence date, you put in the reason. Then if you make it up, the day you make it up, you click make up and you enter the date that you've made up the absence. Same thing for clinical teaching. It's in that portal where your observations will be. Okay? So you'll document it there, and then on your log, you will put absent the day that you miss. Snow day. Won't be snow day for y'all, hopefully. But. Okay, so absences, the only excused absences are student accepted absences that are considered excused through A&M. But once again, those still have to be made up. It's okay if you miss, but they have to be made up. So makeup requirements as far as how we just basically took the senior methods mindset of absences. So their policy is if you miss a day, you drop a letter grade, right? So if you miss a day of clinical teaching for an unexcused absence, you make up an extra day. So if you miss a day, if your best friend's getting married and you're going out of town for her wedding on a Friday, totally fine. It's an unexcused absence. So for that one Friday you miss, you make up 2 at the end. Okay? But you can only have a total of 3 unexcused absences. So you cannot take a week-long cruise in October. You laugh, people have asked to do that. They thought it's okay to just miss a whole week of clinical teaching to go on a vacation. Not okay. Okay? So we know life happens. We know that you may need to miss a day. If it's an excused absence, it's 1 for 1. So if you get sick and you go to the doctor and you have the flu and you miss a week, you submit your note, you mark it in the portal, and every day that you miss, you add on a day at the end. Okay? But if it's unexcused, no more than 3 are allowed. Okay? Do not make plans based on your start date and your end date on your calendar. We had 2 girls this spring semester who had planned trips to Europe based on their end date of April 18th. Well, we had bad weather days. One girl got sick for a week. So she had to postpone her trip because she planned it thinking that she was going to be finished. Do not make vacation plans until after graduation. Okay? Because you're rolling the dice to do that. So 2 girls this semester had to change. I can only imagine the cost to change plans to accommodate the fact some of it you can control, some of it you can't. And the last 2 fall semesters, some students have missed 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 days because of bad weather, hurricane issues in the Houston area. So I'm telling you, don't make plans. If it works out and you finish and you want to throw something together, great. But I would not make plans to go do anything because you can't get that time made up because that's not an excused absence. Okay? Any questions on absences?
So for the unexcused, do we follow that same process with the portal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you will, any absence that you have, you'll enter it in the portal, and then we will mark it either excused or unexcused. Yeah. Questions on absences? As a first-year teacher, you're not going to be able to start your teaching career in August and take a week-long vacation in October. So you're just kind of already in that professional phase, and that's why this expectation is there. As far as being there, you need to be there. Obviously, if you get sick, but the rest of the time you need to be there and be consistent with your attendance. So any questions about absences, attendance expectations? Okay. As far as the overview kind of this semester, you will map out your projected schedule, meaning how you're going to start with team teaching, build into full responsibility, kind of what those weeks look like. Obviously, there will be changes, but you will kind of map out your whole semester schedule with your mentor teacher, and then each week you'll turn in a weekly schedule to your supervisor so that they know when you're teaching. Because if they're going to come do an observation, they don't want to come when you're on a field trip or if you're not teaching that day. So you will turn in a weekly schedule to you'll work on it with your mentor teacher, turn it into your supervisor so they know when you're actually teaching during the week. You'll keep a notebook, and within that you'll have the handbook, your lesson plans, your journal will be in there, so you'll just kind of have all of that housed together wherever your home is within the classroom that you've been assigned to. We will have some e-campus discussions throughout the semester. You won't be doing any like research or having to go out and write any kind of formal paper, but it'll be all based on what's going on in your classroom. So you'll post and then you'll read other reflections, other people's posts, and comment back. So it's a great tool, especially if you happen to be the only clinical teacher headed to wherever you're headed, to feel like there's a connection there, what people are dealing with, what people are seeing, good practices, great opportunity to share. So 3 discussions throughout the semester on eCampus. You'll also upload your attendance login to eCampus at the end of the semester. You'll have those reflections just like in senior methods. After your professor comes in, does an observation, you get in and do a reflection. These obviously will be a little more in-depth. There's some prompts that you'll follow to answer kind of based on their observations and your conference with them. It's much more detailed than senior methods. They're doing a pre-conference with you. They're talking through what to expect. They're observing you for a minimum of 45 minutes, and then they're debriefing with you after. So there's a lot of conversation and a lot of information shared with you. It's a very detailed observation form based on t-tests, which is what you'll use as a teacher. So it's great framework to start getting used to. You'll also do a reflection based on your midpoint and your final evaluation. And then at the end of the semester, you will submit an evaluation on your mentor teacher that you've been assigned to and your supervisor. That is just for our benefit to make sure that you were, the person that you replaced with was a good fit and that we would want to use them in the future. Obviously, if you have concerns during the semester, you need to reach out and say, something's going on that I'm not good with or I have a question about. But that's an opportunity for you to let us know, I had the best mentor ever and I would encourage you to use them again. That just helps us know how things are going. The handbook talks about what the expectations are for the mentor teacher and also the supervisor, so you'll talk through that with both of them as the semester gets started. Serving as substitutes. Every district has their own policy on this. So your opportunity to sub potentially will be totally driven by what the district policy allows. If they allow you to serve as a sub, you may only sub for your mentor teacher, okay? So they can't ask you to go down the hall and cover someone else's class. You can only sub for your mentor, and up to 3 days you can sub and get paid. That's what A&M allows, okay? We also allow a 1 thank you day. So if your mentor teacher wants to take a day, you can serve as a sub. You don't get paid, so you're thanking them. They get to take the day off. But like I said, totally driven by the district. So some districts do not allow any of that. Some of them will allow that. So you'll have to follow whatever policy they have, go through whatever sub orientation they require to make sure that you are in their system and able to get paid. Okay? Yes?
Does that count in your?
Yes.
So the 3 paid days, if like they're sick for like a week, can we only work for the 3 days, or we can do the week but just get paid at 3 of them?
No, you have to be paid if you're the only sub. You have to be on record as the sub if you're in there by yourself.
Okay.
So you can only do 3 days paid and 1 day thank you. So 4 is the most that you can sub for your mentor teacher during the semester, if the district allows. And you will not even do that until you finish at least your first round of full responsibility. So you're not going to get there a week and your teacher leave you by yourself. Okay, only after you are ready and feel prepared, then you're able to say, yes, I'm good to do that. Everybody has to be okay with it. Your mentor, you, your supervisor, the principal. So that is driven by district decision, whether that's even an option. Yes.
So if you're like in a middle school and your teacher's gone for 3 of the periods, is that going to count, and so you sub, is that going to count as like 1 paid sub day, or?
If they put in for a sub for half a day, then that would count as half a day.
So you can sub another half day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Question? Okay, questions on subbing? If you get put in a situation where the principal shows up at your door and says, there's a first grade teacher who got sick and is leaving and we need you to go step in, you politely say, unfortunately, my university will not allow me to sub for anyone other than my mentor teacher. So what option they would have is to pull your mentor teacher to go cover and you take over for that day. But if you get put in that situation, you need to let your supervisor know and us know if that's not the intent of this by any means. It's meant to be, if you're doing a great job and your mentor teacher is going to miss a couple of days and you're already going to be doing all the work because you're the full-time student in the classroom, then it makes sense to pay you for those days, but it's not to abuse the system and use you as a sub all over the school. Okay? Questions about that? So just inform your supervisor if that is an issue.
So if it's any other day and we're not getting paid, they should hire a sub and
Yes.
we would just be there.
So if you're there week 2 and your teacher gets sick, they will pay a sub to come and sit in the room with you while you're there. Yes. You will not be left alone unless you're the sub of the classroom. Yep. Okay? Yes.
After our 70 days is over, are we able to keep subbing there as long as the district's okay with it?
Absolutely. Lots of students will take long-term sub jobs as soon as their 70 days finish. Yeah. All right. If there are issues in clinical teaching and you are removed from clinical teaching, there is a plan for that. That's outlined in the handbook. If you are having issues and not progressing as the mentor and supervisor would hope, you may get put on a growth plan. That would be in the portal. It will outline the concerns. It'll outline the steps that you need to work on. You'll submit a reflection. All of that is outlined in the handbook. Because eventually the mentor teacher and the supervisor need to say with confidence that you're ready for your own classroom. So if they have reservations about that and have specific things they want to address, it you may be put on a growth plan. So that process is outlined in the handbook as well. There are sample forms in the handbook at the back that you will want to look over. There's a pacing schedule, like how you're going to get built up to full responsibility, what you do after full responsibility. You have an opportunity to do some observations in other classrooms. So if you're in EC6 and you're in a kinder class and you want to go observe in a 3rd or 4th grade class, you have the option to do that during your 70 days. Talks about that in the handbook. Code of ethics is in there. And then the growth plan that we talked about, the attendance log is also in that. The template for the attendance log is in the handbook. Everyone is required to attend career fair on Monday, November 12th. Okay? So even if you're in Frisco ISD, you will come back on that Sunday, stay with a friend, and then attend career fair on that Monday. After the event, you will have another meeting with Ms. Korn to talk about final steps for certification, and I'll talk briefly about things that are still out there that you need to take care of to be cleared for graduation. So that is a required day at the Expo Center. You'll get lots more emails and information about that, but if you want to go ahead and put that on your calendar. Once everybody attends the makeup meeting, we'll post this PowerPoint so that you can go back and refer to all this information. You guys should have all had liability insurance for senior methods, yes? So you will need to renew that for next school year since we're rolling into a new school year. But because you are still in clinical teaching, it will be free. So you'll just need to renew that and make sure you have that taken care of before your first day, because that's something that the page 4 in the handbook that you sign and give to your supervisor says that you have insurance. Okay? Okay, so between now and when we get ready to make placements and hand those placements out, you guys obviously have come to the first meeting and you're at this meeting, so you've got to check. If you have not been in for advising this semester, that is also a requirement, so you'll need to get that taken care of. If the district that you've been assigned to has paperwork that you need to fill out, criminal history forms, any kind of application for clinical teaching, make sure you've submitted all of that. And then you have to have passed your primary content exam. The last date to test is May 5th. So if we do not have passing scores from a May 5th test or earlier, you will not be clinical teaching in the fall. You'll have to sit out a semester. Okay? Yes?
If our district like has those things, would they reach out to us and tell us that, or can we go into that?
No, they will have emailed you. Yeah. Okay, questions about requirements before you'll get your placement? All right, our office is in Heaton Hall. Easiest way to contact us, obviously, is through email. Most of you guys will be headed off this summer, and so email is by far. Make sure you're checking your A&M email regularly because we will send updates. During the actual semester of clinical teaching, we will send a weekly email update, reminding you of upcoming things. That email will also be copied to all the supervisors, so they're getting the same information. They're your primary contact. If you have a question about something, with what's going on in your semester, your first line of contact is your supervisor. If they don't know or they're not sure, they'll contact us or you'll contact us. But we will send out weekly email reminders of when observations are due, career fair, all the things, certification information. You will get an email from us on a regular basis. But if something comes up and you have questions, email, phone call, we are here to facilitate a great semester and final experience for you as you finish your time at A&M. So, questions about, yes?
Is CPR an excuse?
No. You cannot miss a day of clinical teaching to go take an exam. You can have one day to go on an interview. So you can have one excused absence to go on an interview. So if you're student teaching in Sci Fair and Klein wants to interview you and they have an opening and you want to take a day, one excuse, any more than that would be unexcused. Okay? But no, you may not take a day from PPR. Well, you can, it's unexcused and you make up 2 days, but not encouraged. And you guys have all summer to do that. And it's a CAT test, so it's on the weekends, it's at night. There's plenty of opportunity to take your PPR and not have to miss school. Okay, any other questions?
I have a question. It might be kind of silly since I took my test in December, but the scores from our certification go straight to Miss Steve.
Yes.
Right? So we don't have to worry about sending them.
No, if you haven't gotten an email from us that says we don't have record of your passing, you're good.
Okay.
Yes.
Is the career fair going to already be like included in our 7
Yes.
days? Like, with it?
Yes. Career fair will be counted when you have get your days from us, and you can double check us. There's potential that we miscounted. We have 40 district calendars. If you've ever compared district calendars, they're not consistent. What days count, what don't, how they're indicated. So you are more than welcome to count your days and make sure that we haven't made a mistake, and if we have, let us know. Yes?
Is there a minimum number of people that have to be on a campus
No.
for student teaching? So we
No.
might be the only one.
There is a good chance if you're leaving this area that you may be the only clinical teacher from A&M on a campus.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I want to talk about as we wrap up. You guys have been in College Station, and Bryan and College Station are so fortunate to have a great workforce, students to come into those classrooms and provide valuable time and energy to the students here. But a lot of you guys are headed off and away from here, and there's a good chance if you're headed toward Houston or Austin or Dallas area, you're going to be on a campus with a student from another university. So just be really thoughtful and realize that you're an Aggie and you're representing A&M, and it's very important that you are, we're so fortunate that we have so many districts that want you, but that's because the people that have come before you have done a great job, and the reputation is there that you guys are going to do the same thing. So that's why it's really important that you're on time and dressed well, and because they're comparing you with students they've had in the past or other students that are there from a different university. So we want you guys to put your best foot forward, and our slogan is always expect more of Aggie teachers, and so that's what we do. We have an award, so some of you guys will get nominated for the Always Expect More of Aggie Teacher Award by your supervisor. But the expectation is for you to go above and beyond whatever the expectation is that your mentor teacher has for you, and shine and do a great job and represent A&M well. So, questions about anything else before we? Yes.
This might be kind of a silly question too, but if our, like, we have a certain dress code, like student teaching, like our teachers tell us what to wear, like all this stuff. But if our teacher is like, you don't have to wear that, you can wear jeans this day, this day, this day. You can wear a t-shirt if you want. Like our school district doesn't care. Do we still go by A&M's dress code or our teachers' dress code to an extent?
I mean, professional is the key, but on a Friday, if it's Spirit Day and everyone is wearing jeans and the school shirt and you have that ensemble, then yes. If you're going on a field trip and everyone is wearing jeans on a Tuesday, it's fine. Just look put together and professional, even if you're in jeans. But yeah, you're gonna follow the district dress code because they have, every district has dress code. Sleeveless, how long, how short. I mean, so you're not an employee of the district, but you are an unpaid worker in the district, so you'll follow that.
Okay.
But if your teacher dresses like a slob, I'm not encouraging you to do that. So, because other teachers aren't dressed that way, and you don't want that to be the association. So, yes. If you, depending on the school, a lot of them will have lanyards with, you'll have like a badge, because if you're there every day for 70 days, they're probably going to put you in the system and have you have an easy way in and out and be recognizable. If for some reason they don't have that, if you're in a smaller school, then yes, I would wear your A&M ID while you're there. Okay? So y'all can expect an email from us the middle of May. If your placement still says pending, if there's any part of your placement that says pending, as soon as we get more details, we will send those out. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, we will see y'all, I guess, face to face at career fair. If you did not sign in for the singing
I'll go pick it up. Let them wear. You take your car. And take it here in the campus.
Yeah. I think we're gonna. They're working on placement, so I'm just that that's not It's gonna be really long time in college, so.
I'm looking to move
Okay. So what form?
So on mine it said like, I guess from the sixth form it said fill out the graduating part and the certification. But she said you're going to get that all after you graduate. Well, I'm already graduated.
Right, but she can't recommend you for certification until you finish clinical teaching. So your graduation will already be, that will be in Howdy. So in theory, you would be able to be recommended for certification when you finish your 70 days because you've already met the graduation part of it. So I would just email her when you do that and just say, I graduated in May, I'm Maggie Teach, because you guys are special. Yep. Good?
Yes.
Okay.
So I initially put in my preference was to and I just wanted to make sure that that is, if there's anything else I need to do.
So you'll be here. Yeah, no. As long, unless there's preference changes that you want to make. Like, I don't know what you asked for in Frisco, so if you ask for third and fourth grade and you realize, I really want to do first and second, you can shoot us an email. But yeah.
But I don't need to do, because I haven't like gotten anything about it. I have gotten stuff from Frisco though, so I wasn't sure if they were still thinking that I was going to be there.
From who, you're saying you haven't gotten anything from our office or from Senior Methods?
I got an email from Frisco ISD saying that I needed to complete an application.
Right.
But I haven't heard of anything like that from this area. So
Right,
I just
because
wasn't sure.
Frisco, they're an exception to the rule. I think they have so many clinical teachers that they have them fill out another application on top of what we send them.
Okay.
So if you're staying local, there is no other application other than the one you already submitted. So unless you want to change something on that, you're good. So have you met with your Senior Methods instructor again to follow up on what was put in place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure that was,
Yeah,
She
okay.
has
And that's going to follow you?
Yeah.
Is that following you? Okay.
You mean like in super teaching?
Okay, why don't you shoot me an email and I'll get with your instructor and find out. Okay. Yes,
We were wondering where we can find these presentations online.
we'll send them out a link once we have all the makeup meetings. Because we have like 12 people that didn't show up today, so I'm not going to post it for the world to see until they come.
Okay, we're just pretty sure that in the past we haven't gotten emails with the presentations, so I don't know.
Yeah, because the last time they said one would be sent out, we never got it.
Yeah, we sent an email that said, our records indicate that you attended the meeting. You should have got an email like that.
I think I got one like that, but there wasn't a presentation.
Yeah, there was a link to PowerPoint.
Okay, I'll go back and check.
Yeah, I'll check again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, we will be putting both of these back on the TLAC website whenever they get it all. So they changed the platform of, they're doing the whole college, but they did TLAC like literally the week of Christmas break. So all of our spring stuff for clinical teachers disappeared. So we had to like put it on the Education Career Fair website. So it'll all transition back. All of y'all stuff will be back on the TLAC site in the next probably month.
Okay.
So,
And you said we have full responsibility for 4 weeks?
2 and 2. Yeah, two 2-week sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not bad. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I got an email from, it's from, I didn't know, but it says your organization has pre-enrolled you to get fingerprinting with Frisco. So when I do all that, I mean, I assume it's for the district, but can that also count for my certification?
It should.
Okay.
Yeah, so once you do all that, you'll just want to make sure that it syncs in the system. Yeah, so that'll be a phone call to TEA when you get ready for that stuff to make sure that it's there. But yeah, it should, any school district fingerprinting should
Okay, and if they
merge.
require it, do you think they'll pay for it?
Possibly. Some districts do, some don't.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
For me, I think I agree with that because I had wonderful junior methods experience, and then right now it was just I wish I had someone to say someone to talk to about it or something to submit, just so someone knew, and it wasn't my place to look at the principal and say this is awesome.
Right.
So
No, don't do that.
no.
Did you let your senior methods instructor know?
Yes, and she, even when she observed, she was like, is it always like this? Because I have Dr. Taylor for my supervisor, and I've had her for a couple years in different classes, and so she knows a lot about me. And after observing, honestly, she just looked at me like, what's going on? I know your capabilities, and is it like this every day? Unfortunately, it is. And
where are you clinical teaching?
in Mansfield. So I was at Forest Ridge this semester, and it was just rough. And after having such a great mentor teacher in junior methods, I was really excited to student teach. And I was like, Forest Ridge, yeah, that's a great school. And I was really
That's what's
excited.
deceiving is, people assume that College Station ISD is all rainbows and bubbles, and there are great teachers in every district, and there are stinky teachers in every district.
Yeah, junior methods, Brian,